Imagine Luis, a 42-year-old man who works incredibly hard, spends countless hours sitting at his desk, eats quickly grabbing whatever is convenient, consumes mostly processed foods, and barely finds time for any physical activity. He genuinely believes his problem is simply a lack of time, that if he just had more hours in the day, everything would be fine. But the harsh truth that Luis hasn't fully accepted yet is that his sedentary lifestyle and poor nutritional habits are seriously undermining his intimate life in ways he never imagined possible. His sexual desire has dropped significantly. His erections are not as firm as they used to be, and that sensation of energy and vitality in the bedroom has completely disappeared. This is the type of silent problem that grows gradually, without you noticing it, creeping up on you slowly day after day until suddenly your relationship starts suffering or your self-esteem takes a serious hit and you finally realize something needs to change. Hello, and welcome to another video here on the channel. Today I want to talk about something that affects millions of men, but that very few have the courage to discuss openly and honestly. We're going to dive deep into how your lifestyle, specifically being sedentary for many hours every day, eating a diet rich in sugars and bad fats, and lacking regular exercise, is directly connected to your sexual function as a man. If you're watching this content right now, you're probably looking for real answers, practical solutions, and not just empty promises or magic pills that claim to fix everything overnight. Let me tell you something right from the start that you need to hear. You are absolutely not alone in this situation, and yes, there are proven and effective solutions that actually work. Before we begin, if you're new here to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to receive alerts about upcoming videos on men's health, relationships, and quality of life. And if this content makes sense to you as we go through the video, leave that like down below to help more men find this important information that can genuinely transform their lives. Let's go back to Luis's story for a moment. Throughout his entire adult life, he always prided himself on being a hard-working man, dedicated to his career, someone who provides for his family and takes his responsibilities seriously. He's the kind of guy who arrives early at the office and leaves late, who skips lunch breaks to finish projects, who sits in front of a computer screen for 8, 10, sometimes 12 hours a day without getting up. When he finally gets home, he's exhausted, grabs something quick to eat, usually something processed or takeout food, and collapses on the couch to watch television before going to bed. Physical exercise? He keeps telling himself he'll start next month, that he'll join a gym soon, that he just needs to get through this busy period at work first. But that busy period never really ends, does it? The months turn into years, and the promised changes never actually happen. In the last year or so, Luis started noticing some changes that worried him, though he tried to dismiss them at first. His sexual desire, which used to be strong and present, started to decline noticeably. He no longer felt that spontaneous urge, that natural attraction and enthusiasm for intimacy with his partner. When intimate moments did happen, he noticed his erections weren't as firm as they used to be, sometimes taking longer to achieve, sometimes difficult to maintain throughout the sexual act. The physical pleasure seemed less intense, less fulfilling than he remembered, and that vital energy, that inner fire that made him confident and present in the bedroom, seemed to be fading away, almost extinguishing completely. Along with these physical changes came the mental questions that started tormenting Louise on a daily basis. Is this just because I'm getting older? Is something really wrong with me? Will my partner notice these changes and be disappointed? Will she think I don't desire her anymore, that I don't find her attractive? These doubts began consuming the confidence he had built over decades. What used to be natural, spontaneous, and pleasurable was now becoming a source of anxiety, worry, and even shame. Maybe you identify completely with Louise. Maybe you're living something very similar at this exact moment in your life. And if that's the case, I want you to know right now that what you're feeling is absolutely real. It's valid, and it deserves serious attention. It's not just in your head. It's not just psychological, and it's definitely not something you need to passively accept as the inevitable fate of aging. Now, we're going to understand what's really happening in your body when you maintain a sedentary lifestyle and poor eating habits, because knowledge is power, and when you understand the mechanisms behind the problem, it becomes much easier to find the right solutions. The problem that Louise is facing, and that you might also be facing, is not just a matter of mindset or self-confidence, though those factors certainly play a role. There are real physiological mechanisms happening inside your body that directly affect male sexual function in profound ways. When a man maintains a sedentary lifestyle for months and years, combined with poor nutritional habits, several damaging factors begin to accumulate and interact with each other, creating a challenging scenario for sexual health. Let's talk about each one of these factors with complete honesty and clarity, so you can fully understand what's happening inside your body right now. First, we have the vascular factors, which are absolutely crucial and unfortunately frequently overlooked by most men. Male erection depends totally and completely on adequate blood flow to the cavernous bodies of the penis. There is no erection without blood arriving correctly to that area, period. It's a simple physiological fact that cannot be ignored. When you spend many hours sitting every single day, your blood circulation becomes compromised throughout your entire body. The blood tends to pool in your lower extremities, the vessels lose their elasticity and efficiency over time, and the endothelium, which is the inner lining of your blood vessels, can become inflamed and dysfunctional. This is not just theoretical. This is what actually happens inside your body when you remain sedentary for extended periods. Additionally, when you consume a diet rich in processed foods, refined sugars, trans fats, and bad quality oils, you're actively promoting chronic inflammation throughout your body and the accumulation of fatty plaques in your arteries, a process called atherosclerosis. These plaques reduce the caliber through which blood can pass, affecting not just your heart and brain, but also your erectile function significantly. Many medical specialists say that erection problems can be an early warning sign of cardiovascular disease, functioning as your body's alert system that something needs to change urgently before more serious problems develop. Second, there's the hormonal aspect that gets severely impacted by poor lifestyle choices. When you carry excess abdominal fat, which is extremely common in sedentary men who eat poorly, that visceral fat is not just sitting there passively. It's actually metabolically active tissue that produces an enzyme called aromatase, which converts testosterone into estrogen. Yes, you read that correctly. The more belly fat you have, the more your male hormones are being converted into female hormones inside your own body. This hormonal imbalance leads to lower testosterone levels, which directly affects your sexual desire, your libido, your ability to achieve and maintain erections, your energy levels, your mood, your motivation, and even your mental clarity. It's a vicious cycle because low testosterone also makes it harder to build muscle and easier to accumulate more fat, which then converts even more testosterone into estrogen, perpetuating the problem. Third, we have insulin resistance and metabolic dysfunction. When you regularly consume processed foods high in refined sugars and simple carbohydrates, your body is constantly flooded with glucose, and your pancreas has to pump out large amounts of insulin to deal with it. Over time, your cells become resistant to insulin signals, requiring even more insulin to do the same job. This state of insulin resistance is not just about diabetes risk, it also severely impacts your sexual function. Insulin resistance is associated with endothelial dysfunction, meaning the cells lining your blood vessels cannot produce adequate amounts of nitric oxide, which is absolutely essential for vasodilation and achieving erections. Without sufficient nitric oxide, your blood vessels cannot relax and expand properly to allow blood flow into the penis. Additionally, insulin resistance contributes to low testosterone levels, creating another layer of hormonal dysfunction affecting your sexual health. Fourth, there's the inflammation factor that ties everything together. Chronic low-grade inflammation caused by poor diet, lack of exercise, excess body fat, and sedentary behavior creates a hostile internal environment in your body. This inflammation damages blood vessels, interferes with hormone production and signaling, impairs nerve function, and basically undermines every system involved in sexual function. Inflammatory markers like C-reactive protein and interleukin-6 are consistently elevated in men with erectile dysfunction, showing the clear connection between inflammation and sexual problems. Fifth, the psychological and stress components cannot be ignored. When you're working long hours, sitting under fluorescent lights, eating poorly, not exercising, and not taking care of yourself, your stress levels skyrocket. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, the stress hormone, which in turn suppresses testosterone production and reduces sexual desire even further. The anxiety about sexual performance that develops when you start noticing the first failures creates even more stress, more cortisol, less testosterone, worse performance, creating that negative feedback loop that many men know all too well but rarely admit to anyone. Now let's talk about the warning signs that Louise ignored for far too long, signs that you might be ignoring right now as well. Constant fatigue that doesn't improve even after sleeping. Occasional weak erections that you tell yourself are just one-time things. A noticeable drop in sexual desire where you just don't think about sex as much anymore. Irritability and mood swings that affect your relationships. Feelings of guilt about not being the man you used to be or not satisfying your partner the way you want to. These are all red flags waving frantically, trying to get your attention, but like Louise, you might be dismissing them, making excuses, telling yourself it's just temporary stress from work or that it's normal for your age. But here's the truth. It's not normal, it's not inevitable, and you don't have to accept it as your destiny. The good news, and pay close attention here because this is crucial, is that changing your lifestyle is the foundation of the solution. This is not about finding some magic pill that will fix everything while you continue living the exact same way. Medications can certainly help and have their place, which we'll discuss, but they work much better and sometimes become unnecessary. when you address the root causes of the problem. Your body has an incredible capacity to heal and regenerate when you give it the right conditions. Blood vessels can repair themselves, hormone levels can rebalance, inflammation can decrease, insulin sensitivity can improve, body composition can change. But this requires you to make real changes to how you live your daily life. Now I'm going to share with you a practical 30-day action plan that can start turning things around for you. This is not theory. This is a concrete step-by-step approach that you can begin implementing starting today. If you follow this plan consistently for 30 days, you will start seeing real improvements in your energy, your desire, your erectile function, and your overall confidence. So stay with me until the end because each step is important and they work best when applied together as an integrated approach. Step 1 is reducing your sedentary time throughout the day. This is absolutely non-negotiable if you want to improve your sexual health. You need to break up those long periods of sitting that are literally killing your circulation and your hormones. Here's what I want you to do. Set a timer or alarm on your phone for every 30 to 60 minutes while you're working. When that alarm goes off, stand up, move around, do some light stretching, walk to get water, do a few squats or push-ups against your desk, anything to get your blood flowing again. Even just 2 or 3 minutes of movement every hour makes a massive difference in your circulation, your metabolism, your energy levels, and yes, your sexual function. If possible, consider getting a standing desk or a convertible desk that allows you to alternate between sitting and standing throughout your workday. Take walking meetings instead of sitting in conference rooms. Park farther away from entrances. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Every bit of movement adds up and contributes to better vascular health and better sexual function. Step 2 is including at least 3 exercise sessions per week, combining strength training with light cardiovascular work. This is essential for multiple reasons. Strength training, especially when focused on large muscle groups like legs, back, and chest, naturally stimulates testosterone production and improves the sensitivity of your hormone receptors. Exercises like squats, deadlifts, and bench presses are excellent for this purpose. You don't need to become a bodybuilder or spend hours in the gym. Even 30 to 45 minutes of focused strength training 3 times per week can make a dramatic difference in your hormone levels. Cardiovascular exercise improves your heart health, increases the capacity of your blood vessels, reduces blood pressure, and improves overall circulation. Brisk walking, light jogging, swimming, cycling, any activity that elevates your heart rate in a sustained way for at least 30 minutes is beneficial. The ideal is to accumulate at least 150 minutes of moderate physical activity per week, distributed throughout your days. This is not just a general health recommendation, this is a specific strategy to recover your sexual potency. Step 3 is making significant dietary adjustments. You need to drastically reduce or eliminate processed foods from your diet. That means cutting out or seriously limiting things like sodas, packaged snacks, fast food, refined sugars, white bread, pastries, processed meats, anything that comes in a package with a long list of ingredients you can't pronounce. These foods promote inflammation, insulin resistance, weight gain, and hormonal dysfunction. Instead, you need to focus on whole, real foods. Dramatically increase your consumption of vegetables, especially dark leafy greens like spinach, kale, and arugula. Add more colorful vegetables to every meal. Include berries and other fruits rich in antioxidants. Eat high-quality proteins like wild-caught fish, rich in omega-3 fatty acids such as salmon and sardines, grass-fed meats, organic eggs, legumes. Include healthy fats from sources like extra virgin olive oil, avocados, nuts, and seeds. These foods provide the nutrients your body needs to produce hormones, reduce inflammation, improve vascular function, and support sexual health. Specific foods that are particularly beneficial include garlic and onions, which improve circulation, ginger and turmeric, which reduce inflammation, dark chocolate with at least 70% cacao, which contains flavonoids that improve blood flow, watermelon, which contains citrulline that converts to arginine and helps produce nitric oxide, and pumpkin seeds, which are rich in zinc, a crucial mineral for testosterone production. Step 4 is monitoring your desire, erection quality, and energy levels throughout this 30-day period. I want you to keep a simple journal. It doesn't have to be elaborate, just brief daily notes about how you're feeling. Rate your sexual desire on a scale of 1 to 10. Note the quality of any erections you have, whether morning erections are returning, how firm they are, how easily they occur. Track your overall energy levels throughout the day. Monitor your mood and stress levels. Record what exercises you did and what you ate. This tracking serves two important purposes. First, it helps you identify patterns and connections between your behaviors and your results. And second, it allows you to measure your progress objectively rather than relying on vague feelings. When you can look back after 2 weeks or 3 weeks and see concrete improvements in your scores, it provides tremendous motivation to keep going and proves that what you're doing is actually working. Step 5 is adjustment and maintenance. As you go through this 30-day plan, pay attention to what's working best for you and what feels sustainable long-term. Some men respond better to certain exercises or dietary changes than others. The goal is not just to improve for 30 days and then return to your old habits. The goal is to establish new sustainable habits that you can maintain for months and years to come. After the initial 30 days, assess your results honestly. If you're seeing significant improvements, fantastic. Keep doing what you're doing and look for ways to optimize even further. If improvements are modest, analyze where you might be falling short. Are you truly consistent with the exercise? Are you still eating processed foods more often than you admit? Are you getting adequate sleep? Make adjustments based on your honest self-assessment and continue for another 30 days. Now let's talk about how all of these lifestyle changes specifically improve your intimate life. Because that's what you really care about, right? When you reduce sedentary time and increase physical activity, your blood circulation improves dramatically throughout your entire body, including to your penis. The endothelial cells lining your blood vessels become healthier and more capable of producing nitric oxide, which is absolutely essential for achieving and maintaining firm erections. Your blood vessels become more elastic and responsive, allowing them to dilate properly when sexual arousal occurs. When you improve your diet and reduce processed foods, the chronic inflammation in your body decreases significantly. Your insulin sensitivity improves, your blood sugar stabilizes, and your metabolic health enhances. All of this contributes to better vascular function and better erectile response. When you build muscle through strength training and reduce body fat, especially that dangerous visceral fat around your abdomen, your hormonal profile improves substantially. Less belly fat means less aromatase enzyme, converting your testosterone into estrogen. More muscle mass means better testosterone production and receptor sensitivity. Higher testosterone levels translate directly into increased sexual desire, better libido, more spontaneous thoughts about sex, greater enthusiasm for intimacy. You start feeling that drive and interest returning that you thought was gone forever. The improved hormone balance also enhances the quality of your erections, making them firmer, easier to achieve, and easier to maintain throughout sexual activity. The increase in physical fitness and the improvements in your body composition boost your confidence tremendously. When you look in the mirror and see a healthier, fitter version of yourself, when you feel stronger and more energetic, when you know you're taking control of your health, your self-esteem naturally rises. This confidence extends into the bedroom. You feel less anxious about performance because you trust your body more. You feel more attractive and more worthy of pleasure and intimacy. This psychological shift is incredibly powerful and often creates a positive feedback loop where confidence improves performance, which builds more confidence, which leads to even better performance. The energy boost you get from better nutrition, regular exercise, and improved sleep translates directly into more stamina and vitality in the bedroom. You're no longer exhausted and depleted when intimate opportunities arise. You have the physical energy and mental presence to fully engage in and enjoy sexual experiences. Your partner notices this difference. The connection between you improves because you're more present, more engaged, more enthusiastic. Sexual satisfaction increases for both of you, which strengthens your emotional bond and creates more desire for continued intimacy. Many men who follow this lifestyle approach report that not only does their erectile function improve significantly, but their overall sexual experience becomes richer and more fulfilling. They rediscover aspects of their sexuality they thought were lost. Morning erections return consistently, which is a great sign of vascular and hormonal health. Spontaneous desire and arousal become more frequent. The ability to have multiple sexual encounters over a weekend returns. Recovery time between sessions decreases. The intensity of orgasms often increases. All of these improvements come not from a pill, but from giving your body the conditions it needs to function optimally. If you recognize yourself in Luisa's story or identify similar habits in your own life, this video is specifically for you. The sedentary lifestyle, the poor diet, the lack of exercise, these are not just minor inconveniences or things you can deal with later. They are actively undermining your sexual health, your intimate relationships, your confidence, and your quality of life right now. The good news is that you have much more control over this situation than you might think. You don't have to accept decline as inevitable. You don't have to resign yourself to a diminished sex life. You can make changes starting today that will produce real measurable results within weeks. Before I finish, I want to make something very clear. Everything I've shared with you in this video is based on scientific evidence and proven clinical practice. But every case is unique and individual. You need personalized medical follow-up to evaluate your specific situation. Do not use this video as a substitute for medical consultation. Use it as a guide and inspiration to seek appropriate professional help. If you have underlying health conditions like diabetes, cardiovascular disease, or hormonal disorders, You absolutely need to work with a qualified healthcare provider who can properly assess your situation and provide appropriate treatment, which might include medication in addition to lifestyle changes. Lifestyle changes and hormonal recovery take time. Don't expect immediate overnight results. Be patient with yourself, be consistent with your efforts, and trust the process. The journey might have ups and downs. You might have days or weeks that are better and others that are worse. That's completely normal. What matters is the general trend of improvement over time. Don't give up at the first obstacle or setback. Remember that you're reversing months or years of damage, and that takes time. But it absolutely can be done. I want you to understand something really important here. Recovering your sexual potency is not just about having firmer erections or having sex more frequently, though those are certainly nice benefits. It's about reclaiming your confidence as a man, about feeling in control of your body, about having the freedom to express your sexuality without fear or shame, about strengthening the connection with your partner, about living with more energy and vitality in all areas of your life. It's about not passively accepting a decline that you have the power to reverse. It's about taking responsibility for your health, your well-being, and your quality of life. The Louise I mentioned at the beginning of this video was in crisis, feeling powerless, lost, ashamed. But the Louise who applies these strategies, who seeks medical help, who changes his habits, who talks openly with his partner, who commits to his recovery, that Louise is today living a full and satisfying sexual life, is more confident, healthier, and happier. And you can get there too, regardless of how old you are, regardless of how long you've been dealing with this problem. Now, I want to ask you a question, and I need you to answer in the comments down below, because I want to understand better how I can help you. The question is, what is your biggest pain related to lifestyle and your intimate life? Where do you feel you're losing the most? Is it the confidence? Is it the connection with your partner? Is it the sensation of youth and vitality? Is it the physical pleasure itself? Is it the fear of judgment? Write down below honestly. You can use a fake name if you prefer to maintain privacy, but share your experience, because this helps me create increasingly relevant and useful content for you and for the thousands of men who are going through the same situation. If this video made sense to you, if you felt that finally someone is speaking the truth about this subject without beating around the bush and without miraculous promises, leave that like down below so that more men can find this information. Share it with that friend you know is going through this, but is ashamed to talk about it. Maybe this video is exactly what he needs to take the first step. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell, because I will continue bringing deep and practical content about men's health, relationships, quality of life, and personal development. Thank you for watching until the end. Your attention and your time are valuable, and I hope I've honored that with truly quality content. Now go out there, make the decision to act, schedule that medical appointment, take that first walk, have that conversation with your partner. The first step is the hardest, but also the most important. I believe in you. See you in the next video. A strong hug, and until soon. Tentar novamente o Claude pode cometer erros. Confira sempre as respostas.